Welcome to Created Healthy. I'm Dawn Combs. It's a common idea that God gave us everything we need in nature, but do we believe it enough to walk that out in truth? Often the very same people who say this go looking for answers on how to use food and medicine from man-made sources. Everything man creates comes with a user's manual. Why would God be any different? I challenge you to join me in seeking revelation about our body, mind, soul, and spirit health by digging into His written word and in practicing pure science in the visible world of His creation. I'm finally at the end of 2 Kings today. I'm in 2 Kings 23 through 25. And this is the sad end of the story for King Josiah. And it is at once a story that you feel like it's not fair. And I think we have to lean into that and really try to understand why that is. So at the end of the last reading, Josiah had sent, his scribe has brought to him the book of the law that's uncovered in the temple. And the culture clearly of Judah has gone so away from God that when Josiah reads this, he freaks out. This is a law, remember, that it was supposed to be read and remembered, and it has been entirely forgotten. It would be kind of like if you've thrown away all the written laws of where you live, and you've just been doing whatever it is that you wanted to do, and you get a hold of the laws, and you realize that you have been breaking everything, and you're about to be found out. Josiah realizes that all of the kings before him, the culture, the hearts of the people, it's all been corrupted. And as one man here in our readings today, he starts to put everything right. Josiah is a good man, and he actually goes into the temple and he reads the law out to all the people, and he makes a covenant to walk with the Lord, to walk in his path, and he gets all the people to join him. But I think perhaps there isn't a genuine seeking after God's heart in many of the people that he has assembled, because he goes about to fixing the temple, and there's an extensive documentation here of what he had to fix. He burnt the Asherah poles that were inside the temple. Asherah poles to this local goddess had actually been erected inside God's house. Very profane. And he took them out and burnt them at the brook of Kidron, which was a known place where unclean things were dragged out and burnt and dealt with. He spread the ashes on the graves of people to really symbolize that he knows this brings about judgment, condemnation. He breaks down the houses of all of the prostitutes, takes down and defiles all of the high places, takes down a place called Topheth so that nobody can take their son or daughter there to pass through the fire for Molech. Does away with the horses that had been given to the sun and burned the sun's chariots. He takes down all of the high places that Solomon built. So he's really physically atoning for all of these sins that have been put up. Smashed all the extra altars in the upper room and the roofs of Manasseh. Destroys all of the high places in Samaria that the kings of Israel had built. Kills all of those high priests on their altars and buries their bones. There is nothing. He is in a burned earth campaign. There's nothing left. But, unfortunately, after he even reinstates Passover in Jerusalem, he's trying to put everything right. But God lets him know through a prophetess. He's let him know that it's too late. He is going to remove Judah from his sight as he removed Israel. He says, I will cast off Jerusalem, this city which I have chosen, and the temple which I said my name shall be there. And as we go on through the rest of the readings of today, Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon, gathers an army, comes through, burns everything, burns down. We actually get the name of the guy that burns down God's temple, takes everything, takes all of the people and presses them into service, and except for the poorest that are left as servants in the area. However, Josiah, as God had prophesied, he let Josiah know before this that it's too late. But I see your heart. I see your humility, and I'm going to gather you to your fathers in peace before this all hits the fan, before everything goes south. I'm going to make sure that you don't have to live through this. But the reckoning is coming. And it's hard to see what the message is here. We know that we can sin and sin and sin and sin and make really awful decisions and separate us from God. And at the last minute before we die, we can be reconciled with God and saved. We see it with the thief on the cross, that we can be reconciled even at the last moments of our life, and everything be wiped clean. So we know that God is a God of redemption. So why is it that Josiah does all of this work and sets everything back into motion and makes the house all clean and good again? It's because the people that are there have been lost. They are so lost that God doesn't see any redemption. We're in a moment again, I think, like Sodom and Gomorrah, where Abraham is pleading for God to spare the city, even if there are 10 people there that have a heart for God. And the problem is there's just nobody left. And so God spares those who have a heart for him. And here he is sparing Josiah by allowing him to die in peace, in the peace that he tried to create and to feel at peace with his God. And he doesn't suffer. He's gathered to God so that he doesn't have to go through what is coming. But the reckoning is coming. And I think about us in these times. I think Josiah is a cautionary tale. How many of us are burning ourselves into the ground and burning up our health and running our bodies contrary to what God is telling us to do, and maybe not even keeping our eyes on the purpose that God has given to us, because we're trying so hard to be that one man that can set everything right in a culture that is so very wrong, that has gone so far away from God. I think this is going to get worse and worse and worse. And I mean, I'm raising children that I am working hard for them to know God's ways and God's walk, and to stay close to God, and God willing, they will continue to do that even in my absence. But their world is going to get more and more and more populated with people that are not walking with God. And maybe the blessing of these passages is that we need to be teaching ourselves, and we need to be teaching our children that it's not up to us to set everything right and try to save everyone, because the reckoning is coming. It's been foretold. What we have to do is what our purpose is. We have to stay right with God, and we have to shine a light so that others that may still be saved can see it. But we can't save everybody just by cleaning up the house and fixing it and burning down all the bad stuff. It's too much. It's too much work. And it won't stop the reckoning. I pray that God is blessing you today and helping you to put down the things that aren't yours to carry, and the work that isn't yours to worry about, because it is not healthy, and it takes us away from the purpose that He has designed for us to carry out. Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe and share with a friend. and I'm always interested in hearing what God is laying on your heart. So drop me a rating or review, or join the conversation on Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube at Dawn Combs Really.